Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Adventure on So Many Levels. I can introduce things. I'm Christiana Ellis, the Game Master. We're going to play Masks, a New Generation.
Masks!
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, our players tonight, Nobilis as Flare,
Zoom!
Dove Archambault as Curie,
Seems our work will take us below the waves.
Lee Burdett as Mayhem,
I wanted to say something quippy, but I'm really not going to be good at that today.
Paul Weimer as Antares,
If the Harbor Kids can't save me today, Antares is destined to be the catch of the day. Am I the turf in the surf and turf?
Yeah.
and Jason Banks as Vanguard, hurrying to get back in his chair.
Indeed. Surf and turf. I like surf and turf. Maybe some lobster on the half shell, maybe?
Not helping.
So, when last we left our heroes, they had reflected on the success of their presentation of Ilanil to Gunpowder Guardian, and they decided to treat themselves by just showing up to Nona Olivia's apartment, whereupon they were served a hearty meal of,
Lasagna.
assorted Italian foods, and there was a little bit of tension created when Curie was trying to sort of press on the relationship between Nona Olivia and Le Chef, given the possibly fraught nature of their history together. She mostly dissembled, not giving you really any real specific answers. But as things were left, you all kind of finished up. We all had Antares visited finally Haversham Laboratories, this place where he had been invited by Dr. Amelia Haversham, who believes that she can, with Antares' help, study the cosmic energies that fuel his powers. And things were going relatively well, and he actually did sign the paperwork suggesting that he would become part of this experimentation, and yet her enthusiasm about his powers started to give him a little bit of wariness, and so he demurred to start experimenting right away. And in the meantime, he went out to the waterfront and discovered that some of these new little pop-up trendy restaurants right there on the waterfront are actually devious traps. And he was pulled underwater and then found himself in a fish restaurant. Meanwhile, Mayhem and Curie were kind of at odds back at the headquarters. Some tension between them. And then, of course, Flare discovered, while on patrol, spotted Antares being taken and alerted everyone. And so, as we resume our adventure, the rest of the Harbor Kids have been alerted to rush to the rescue as Antares, as mentioned at the end of last session, you now find yourself in an underwater glass chamber that's got air in it so you can breathe, but it is a chamber designed very much like a reverse aquarium, where around you seems to be an elaborate, larger than human scale restaurant, whereupon aquatic, speaking sort of anthropomorphic aquatic creatures are preparing to have a fancy dinner, And that includes apparently choosing which of the live humans in this tank they might like to order. So you find yourself there in that tank with three other humans watching these giant fish, you know, point at you through the glass. One of them seems to be sort of a young built 20-something man who seems to be doing something on his phone, looking unconcerned. There's a middle-aged woman who looks significantly concerned, and there is an old lady who looks like she is just as irritable now as she would be at any other moment in her life.
Oh.
But you having just been deposited there, at least the two that are paying attention are looking to you. And remind me, were you in your costume or no?
I was not.
I was going to say, I was thinking no.
No,
So I think
I went to my civvies.
so I think they are as they see you arrive in your just ordinary clothes, they look to you and there's some perhaps sympathy that you are now in this terrible situation along with them, but their initial hope that maybe you would help is immediately dashed when it seems clear that you are just trapped here along with them. But the middle-aged woman at least goes to kind of like help you to your feet and just says, I'm Nadine. What's your name?"
Jonathan Pierce.
Yeah, so this is Vicky, pointing to the old lady, and that's Chadwick, apparently. And
Is he on drugs or something? He seems completely...
so what? Oh, sorry, hang on. I'm just realizing I didn't remember to turn off my air conditioning,
Oh.
so I'm turning that off right now. There we go. And at hearing his name, Chadwick suddenly turns and holds his phone up in selfie position and gives some sort of an inscrutable hand gesture and says, "The name is Chad on all on the social media." And I am here in what is obviously some kind of a publicity stunt. We're looking to figure out what sort of presentation they've got going for us right now. Although there's an elaborate production value with us being underwater, I obviously don't think that I'm very impressed so far with these accommodations. Sometimes you have to go back down a little out. And he's talking to his phone. He's he's doing, and so he's like, and I mean, I'm used to being, invited to these cream of the crop sorts of invite-only private occasions, but I kind of don't know who their target audience is here. And he's gesturing to you guys as though you're the riffraff that he's now lumped in with. And so he's just going on like that. And Vicky just, Nadine's just kind of, Chadwick is Chadwick. And, Vicky, the old lady, is just saying, "I hate this place."
It looks like we're on the menu of the day, and I don't like that at all. We could possibly break out of this terrarium, but then we drown. And Antares is looking around, looking at the thing, thinking, talking aloud. He realizes he's in the civvies and he just looks like an ordinary person, but it's like, we've got to get out of here before they try to grab one of us and try to cook us. Has anybody else been cooked yet?
Nadine says, "No one has been taken, since we've got here. We were all brought in and no one has been, pulled out since then, but sure doesn't look like a good situation."
No.
And as you look outside, it seems like a lot of the tables at this sort of restaurant place are not filled yet, but there are these fish creatures arriving. So it
Okay.
may be that this place has sort of just opened for
Just
the day,
opened.
so to speak.
Okay, so I'm going to open up my handphone
Yeah.
and put it on broadcast to all the team.
So I think you find that your signal is not going through.
Always something.
Yeah.
I think that yeah. So as you are, you know, as you're doing that, like, does it? What does it look like that you're doing to these folks that don't know what your deal is?
Well, it looks like I'm putting up my finger like this, as if I have an imaginary phone in my hand, which of course it's not imaginary, but so it looks like I'm Chadwick, except without even a phone to think. So I look even a little more off-putting, I guess.
Yeah, I think
especially
Vicky
another
says,
costume.
"Great, this one's crazy too."
I close my fingers. Problem is getting out of here without killing us all. God damn it. Sorry, Mom. I immediately had since I cursed.
Chadwick kind of turns over his shoulder and goes, "Could you guys be quiet? I'm kind of doing something here."
Are Chad, buddy, pal, are you sure your signal's actually going through? Because mine's not.
Well,
Are
you
you
know,
get-
I mean, obviously we're in a blackout zone right here. It's probably because there's an embargo or something of like the actual release, but I'm recording the
You're-
video for the later posting, obviously. I'm gonna
We're,
have to start it over now.
we're in a blackout zone because they're blocking communications.
Yeah, because you know, like they're not, you know, they're want to control social media posts so they can release it all at once in a media blitz. Obviously,
The only thing they're going to control is how they deep fry or baste us before eating us. If you haven't figured it out, we're on the menu tonight. And my goal is to, and if my team can't find me, my goal is to try to get us out of here alive. And that's going to be rather difficult. Also possibly dangerous. But if we stay here, we're dead.
yeah, he's kind of just like letting you get all of that out with just kind of an utterly like, I'm waiting for you to finish talking expression. And as soon as you finish all of that, he's kind of like, so now that you've got all that out, can you like, while I do my video? And I think that's actually where we will cut away. So, Flair, you have given the alert for everyone back at the base. So let's say Curie, Mayhem, and Vanguard. We left Curie and Mayhem in the middle of a sparring match that was maybe a little more intense than initially intended it to be. But
Yeah.
Vanguard, you get the alert, and what's happening next?
I will. Are you two still going at the sparring?
Carrie said, "We will finish this later," and then
Yeah,
Hi.
absolutely.
And Vanguard looks at you guys and says, "Next time, if you guys are gonna flirt, don't break stuff." But that
We
being said,
didn't break anything. I didn't even break her.
yeah, and flirt.
it looked like it was going towards breaking things. But
Maybe.
We're
Anyway,
in the non-fragile area, dude.
but this is our home, sort of. But I declare, one of us has been kidnapped.
okay.
What seems by like something in the water, so maybe fish people, squid people. It could be the zoo crew again. Maybe they got a new member, like the porpoise pedestrian.
Well,
I
better
hope
than
it's
the-
not
better than the-
them. Oh,
Better than the dolphin, though.
Yeah.
And that guy was an asshole.
No. He's like, I don't know if I could carry both of you.
Do we have? Well, I can run. I mean, I'm not.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do we have anything? Because I don't know about you, but I can't breathe underwater.
Neither can I.
I can hold my breath.
Well,
For how long?
all of us can hold our breath a little bit.
I mean, long enough. I don't. I mean, it depends on how deep they go, I guess. Or
You know, but let's
Yeah.
get out there and maybe Flair will have an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my idea is this might be a good occasion to call Grandpa and see if he's got some snorkels.
Blair always has great ideas.
Oh yeah,
If he has any
absolutely.
good, useful ideas.
You know
So
what?
Yeah.
I think with the crew hurrying out the door then on their way, um, let's cut back to Flair. So having delivered your alert, Flair, what are you doing immediately here?
I'm gonna just circle the spot and see what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I think a assess the situation
Sure.
roll might be appropriate.
I think that's yeah. You're just looking around for any other signs of
Yeah,
this sort of trap thing.
and I do have it in mind that these humans have this whole breathing thing. So one of the things I'm looking for is a way to get under, wait for my friends to get under the water.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyways,
Okay.
here
Well,
we go.
so are you looking for
Well,
breathing solutions, or are you looking for other signs of what the danger is?
I'm making, yeah, I'm assessing the situation. I'm looking around. One of the questions that I can ask is, what here can I use to blank?
Sure.
So if I get one, I'm
No,
going to use
that
that.
you're right.
but-
So go ahead and make your roll. Roll plus superior. Oh, look at that, full hit.
Woohoo.
So you can ask 2 of those questions.
Right. So what here can I use to get my friends safely under the water?
Mm-hmm.
And um, what here's the biggest threat, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
So I think in this circumstance that you're in now, which is above the surface,
yeah.
the biggest threat, looked at one way, could just be the fact that whatever is down there is underwater, which is not trivial to go. But I think that you actually do spy that, just like the little shop that seemed to yank Antares down underwater, you do spot that there is another one that seems to have this strange sort of tendril running down into the water that gives you the impression that it's possible that is another one of these sorts of traps.
Right. Okay. So maybe springing one of those traps might be the best way to get down there.
Yeah, so or at least it would be one way, and it is like that is another sort of representation of the danger here, because there are people walking around going to some
Yeah.
of these shops, and so if someone were to go into that one, right?
Yeah.
But then as far as I think what here can you use to get your friends underwater, I think that I don't know that you would have any idea what all is involved exactly, but you do see that there is a ship nearby that is used for like scuba certifications, and so it
Okay.
does have like
The
a
required
few
equipment.
sets of like scuba gear on it.
Right.
But of course, I don't know that you would necessarily know that, like, that's, not everyone just, it's not just easy to just pick up some
No.
scuba if you've never been trained on it.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. All right.
And you know what? I'll say that because it's fun to have options, I would say there is also there's a bathysphere that is used for, like, there's a ship with a bathysphere that is does shipwreck tours.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because famously,
There's lots of shipwrecks in Halcyon City Harbor.
Halcyon
course
City
there
Harbor
are.
is just like a graveyard. And here's Dr. Ichthypod,
Mm-hmm.
of subterranean base. And over here we have,
Yeah. So I think though that like as you're flying around, you spotting those things, you also do see that there is someone who looks like they're headed towards that one
Yeah, I am
shop.
going to fly down and say, "Halt, citizen! Uh, you are unknowingly entering into danger." Um, and I'm going to um, kind of set up a light show with like hazard do not cross
Okay.
lines all around. I haven't used my heliokinesis in a while.
Okay.
So
So you
yeah,
want to
uh,
unleash your powers to reshape the environment in such a way that people won't want to go towards the shop?
yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see a roll plus freak. Okay, that's a 7. So you on a hit, you do it. So on a 7 to 9, you need to mark the condition, or the GM will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
Yeah, I will accept unstable or
Yeah,
temporary.
sure, sure. So I guess give me just a sense of like what is the appearance of this perimeter that you're creating.
Um, uh, uh, the pylons kind of projecting up out of the ground's kind of like the narrow traffic pylons you see sometimes instead
Mm-hmm.
of like cone shaped. They're just
Mhm.
cylindrical, and then strung between them is flaming, uh, you know, hazard do not cross ribbons
Mm-hmm.
strung between them, um, uh, because flare is completely impossible to be subtle.
Sure, sure. So I think that the person who was startled by your sudden appearance was watching all of that and is just like, "Geez, I was kind of thinking I might just get a corn dog anyway." And then they go
That
the other
would be a
direction.
better choice, citizen.
So they leave, and you've definitely created this perimeter that, while certainly people are going to be discouraged from going to that shop, it's also kind of attracting a lot of attention.
Mm,
So I think that there's, um, as you stand there, you are noticing that like a crowd is starting to form around, just saying like, "Ooh, what's going
yeah,
on
I'll,
here?"
I'll call my friends. And it's like, guys, get over here. Things are escalating.
So I think everyone else is, on their way.
Yeah.
Let's flash back down to Antares. So now that you've got, no signal,
Yep.
more and more um, of these fish creatures seem to be like looking the four of you over, and it appears as they are being shown to tables that they may be
Yeah.
ordering at any moment.
Yep. Time for me
Okay.
to assess the situation myself.
All right.
With an eye to trying to see if I can get out of this mess.
Yes, makes sense. So, how are you assessing the situation? Like, what is it that you're doing?
Um, I'm visually scanning all the walls, scanning the top, trying to see what this cube looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Any sort of equipment or anything out of the ordinary. It can't just be a simple glass cube, can
Sure.
it?
Mm-hmm.
And if necessary, I'll escalate later to elemental awareness. But right now, we're just going to do with
Okay.
ordinary senses.
Sure. Let's
Let's see
get
right off the
a
bat.
plus roll plus superior.
Okay.
Look at that, 11 full hit.
Full hit.
Good rolls so far. So you can ask 2 of those questions.
All right. What here can I use to escape the tank?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we'll go straight up.
You want that one first?
I want that one first.
Okay,
'Cause that's the
so
most interesting one to me at the
what's
moment.
clear to you about this tank that you're in is unlike a normal aquarium, which would be open on the top, right? This one is actually open on the bottom. The bottom can sort of fold away so that the air, you know, would
Right.
would stay in place. Like they could reach in and take someone out, for example, without all the air escaping, which does mean that if you could make an opening, the rest of the tank wouldn't just immediately flood. And so I think that you recognize that although it's not trivial to do so, you see that there is a sort of latch on the door where it can open. That you also know that like that's how you were kind of like shoved in there, and you can see that that hatch is probably far too strong for any sort of an ordinary human to to break, but it may be possible for a superpowered individual to do so.
Yes.
So as far as just escaping the tank itself, like that would be the way to do it. It's latched from the outside, but it doesn't look like it is designed to contain superheroes.
No. They've bitten off more than they cube. I'm worried about the civilians here. If it was just me in this tank, I would just go blasting right now and ask questions later, but that's not really going to work so well here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of know the answer to number 3, given my companions. I want to know what's the biggest threat, because once I get out of the tank, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be trouble.
So I think that first you recognize that you are deep enough that you're not seeing, like the stuff that you're seeing, you're not seeing by light, sunlight going down, through the water, right? They have lights down here that seem to be bioluminescent of some kind. They've got weird little sort of glowing coral bits figured up like light fixtures. They've got quite the setup down here, it would seem. But as you look around, so you know that you're pretty deep, meaning it's probably, again, not something where, like, if you just held your breath for a few seconds, you could swim up and then get to the surface. You might be too far down for that to be easily done. But what is the biggest threat? Well, you were very disoriented because you were so surprised. But it's very clear to you that a giant lobster claw grabbed you and put you in this tank. And I think you didn't really get a good look at them before, but now that you have kind of this more time to look around, you do see that here and there, in addition to all of these, and to be clear, when I say that there are these like anthropomorphic, fish people and other aquatic creatures, they're big. They're bigger than humans are. Because I want, this to be the appropriate image of,
Yes.
they're big.
Yes.
They would eat a person.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you see that there is a lobster person with, claws that are like, 5 or 6 feet long. And he is kind of standing off to the side with kind of his big claws sort of like folded over like this, because he's surveying, like he is the proprietor, and he is proud of his grand opening of his restaurant, and he seems pretty pleased with himself. And then you can see, so you think that he is probably the biggest threat. He certainly who grabbed you out of the water when you initially escaped the trap and then put you in the tank here. But you do see that there are, in addition, like I said, to the various aquatic creatures acting like waiters and maitre d's and so on, there is also a couple of other, for the lack of a better word, goons, flunkies. One of whom looks like a great big shrimp, and one of whom looks like a great big crab person. Shrimp person, crab person, etc. So biggest threat, those guys, for sure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Break out.
And I think that you're all suddenly hearing boom, 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 boom. And you look, and there's a little kid fish person who's banging on the glass.
Mm. I'll go over to the kid person, the fish person,
Of course,
fish
there's-
kid.
I think this one looks like a pufferfish kid, currently in the non-inflated variety. So he's
Yeah.
got to get that great big smile.
Yeah, right up against the glass like this.
Yeah.
Don't make me hurt you. No, I'm
mean-
not gonna hurt a kid. I'm not. I got plenty other targets than this poor little kid. This poor little kid doesn't
Yeah.
know. So.
Are you gonna
no.
tap back?
No, I'm not gonna tap back. I'm just gonna stare,
Aw.
dead-eyed. I'm not amused. I might wind up being dinner tonight. I'm not amused at this prospect.
He as you're staring, he goes bump 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 bump.
Fine. Bump. I'm not super strong, thankfully. Otherwise, we'd have problems.
Suddenly like inflates and then swims away. I'm assuming you weren't trying to hit hard enough to actually break.
No, I don't have that super strength, thankfully. I'm not using my powers.
Sure. Yeah,
Yes,
but,
if I was Vanguard,
yeah,
we might have a
certainly when you
problem.
hit back, he inflates and swims away.
Yeah, Mayhem could probably break this tank. I can't.
I think that are you looking to take any additional action at this point?
No, I've got a tentative plan, but it waits for them to actually try to go for dinner and make sure it's
Okay.
me. So I'll show you sign up. So I'm going to tell my three companions stay on the far side of the tank. I will be the one that gets picked for dinner. Got it?
I think Chadwick just kind of gives you a like stay out of the background of my video sort of gesture, and and Vicky just says good, and Nadine says, why would you do that? I mean,
Because my name is not just Jonathan Pierce. I am dumb comic strip Antares.
we get a nice panel of you in a pose.
Yes.
All right, and with the in the little word bubble is your name in the title logo.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think after that moment we get Nadine just saying, "Who?"
Who?
I'm not deflated. I'm just going to turn my back and go to where this hatch is, where they're presumably going to take the claw out to grab one of us, and
Okay,
let myself get ready to be the one, whether they like it or not.
sure. So I think while you are sort of laying in wait, waiting for them to come and try to take one of you. Mayhem, Vanguard, and Curie, I think you have arrived now at the waterfront to see that Flair has set up what appear to be like pyrotechnics and elaborate displays that basically make it seem as though there's a big event getting ready to happen and there's lots of people gathered around.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but sure.
Okay, is this his plan?
Okay. This place right here is, I think, one of the things that they're using to grab people. And I think that if we just kind of climb in together, it'll take us to wherever Antares is. That's one thing we can do. Or
Okay.
there's a scuba boat over there that we can perhaps convince someone to let you guys use their gear. Or there's that boat over there has a underwater shipwreck tour. So personally, I like the idea of just setting off their trap.
Yeah, that might be better. I know I don't know how to scuba.
Nope.
I deal with boats. Period.
And by doing this, we don't have to go searching. We can just go straight there.
Yeah, let's do this one.
Yes,
Okay.
but first, I'm actually gonna call my Gramps and be like, when he picks up, like, hey Gramps, can you send a team down to cordon off this shop in the harbor? Because claws are kidnapping people into the water, and we don't want civilians getting inside.
Uh,
Or more civilians.
I think that you. Let me think. I'm gonna say. Let's get a savior role for you to try to ask them for help.
Oh, let's do this. Yep. No.
Oh,
Okay. That's a 6. That's a miss. So I think unless somebody is going to try to
No,
help that, I think what we get is um, you, you make the call, and then as gunpowder guardian picks up, you're hearing what sounds like explosions and laser fire in the background. And it's like, little busy, Vanguard. What can I do for you?
And he's like, need a team down to secure an area. What? Because we don't want to split our team.
I'm going to need you to figure this one out for yourself, Vanguard.
Right. It does sound like you're busy.
You know,
Don't get shy.
it's a thing. It'll be fine, but okay. Bye now. Click.
And
Was
he's
there
like,
any other of these that you noticed? Blair?
No, those are the 3 options that I spotted.
Okay. So no other traps at this time. of night.
I didn't notice any other traps.
Okay.
I figured
So-
that if we try to deal with the traps individually, we'll just be playing whack-a-mole, and we should just get to the heart of things right away.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's go and get this taken, spring this trap, get us down there, and then we can deal with them down there.
Right.
Okay.
and Vanguard will look at one of the civilians and say, when we go down there, call the authorities to cordon this place off.
Why?
And I look,
You'll see.
yeah.
Trust us.
Also, and I look at them and say,
We're spraying a trap for things that are fishing for human.
Let's have you, Vanguard, go ahead and do a provoke someone roll. I think in this case they are susceptible to your words because you're in a superhero outfit. But you're also a teenager, right? So
That is very
like
true.
this is like an adult human being who's like, okay.
I know
So
it's a
yeah,
hit.
on a 7 to 9, you can choose. Let's see. Either. Let's see. The choices there are a little different. You know what? I
How about
will.
this? How about I'll mark a condition. I'll mark angry, and Vanguard will look at the civilian and go, are you honestly asking me? I'm in a superhero outfit. My grandfather is Gunpowder Guardian. Call the authorities. Jeez.
Okay, fine. Gosh. So they go off and they pull out their phone. It looks like they're calling someone, but they're
I
looking
wear
at
a
you
cape
over their
for
shoulder
fun.
like, "Gosh, I was just asking. Oh my god." Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's make this horrible decision.
all right. So in any case, you're gonna have them cordon off the place that won't be there anymore once you spring the trap. That's fine.
But we don't know what'll happen after we're gone.
Flair
It
saw
might
what
come
happened.
back.
Yeah,
Does it come
Yeah,
back?
okay. Well, you don't know.
it gets put up somewhere else, probably.
Ah.
So
Okay.
Well, anyway, we step inside.
Yeah, let's all try to step in together, I guess.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're going in together.
It looks like it is a little place that sells like seashell themed jewelry.
by the seashore.
Yeah. And so as you go inside, there's a lot of what look like, display cases and a bored looking teenager kind of, resting their head on their hand by the cash register and not even really reacting to you as you go in. But as you all enter the door and let the door close behind you,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden everything kind of like sags and deflates and then like collapses around you like a net as the whole thing goes and zips into the water.
Oh, to be a fly on that wall.
uh, so yeah, I'm just delighted that you've chosen to solve the problem by going down there with no ability to breathe.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hey, you know what, it's like
For the story, man. For the story.
sure.
Yeah.
Listen, YOLO.
Like, you guys don't know that there's an air tank that you might get
Nope.
put into. You have no idea. Anyway,
Hey, but they took our friend.
yeah, sure.
Mhm.
No, that's great. So I think as you're all sort of being mushed together in a very cluttered way, because this whole structure that you're in basically just collapsed like it was an inflated balloon that you were inside, and now
Mhm.
it's deflated as it pulls you through the water. You're all kind of like crushed together, and are you like resisting or doing anything, or are you kind of just letting it do what it's going to do?
I say we just let it go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Kiri is pressed very uncomfortably against Mayhem, and is just like, you know, sorry, sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mayhem is trying to get a little bit of space by like she's like Curie is like full like they're tight enough to hug, but Mayhem's legs are like she's trying to wiggle them up so that she can press and get them a little bit more space
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
breathe.
Kiri is also wiggling, trying to turn around so face is not against Mayhem.
Yeah. It's like in Return of
Yes.
the Jedi when they all get pulled up in the Ewok net.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, God.
So I think this is where we will go ahead and make the move, enter battle as against a dangerous foe as a team.
Sounds
Yes.
Wow.
So who would you all say is the leader here? I mean, it seemed like Vanguard was kind of taking charge once he showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you still have influence over every member of the team, Vanguard?
You're muted. Jason.
I have not lost influence with anybody yet.
Okay.
Are you sure? Because I don't have you on my list.
I've got all of the Harbor kids still. You might not have been I might not be your rival or your love interest anymore.
No, but the list of the people I am influenced by, you're not on that list.
So is there a way, what would have taken him off of there?
I think he's always been kind of on and off because of the love and rival.
So bearing
bits.
in mind that just when you change your like rival or love move, you don't take their influence away just because you've changed it. So like if you gave him influence because you set him as your rival, then you change your rival to someone else, doesn't mean you take his influence away.
Mhm. Okay, that was not my understanding of how that worked, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So I think that there's a specific mechanic for removing someone's influence. So that's
Yeah.
not does that mean that he does have influence then? I think the only way to take someone's influence away is to reject their influence and do that move.
Yeah, because looking at the playbook, it says you're selective about who you let in, give your love or rival influence over you, but that's it.
Yes, but when you change it, that doesn't mean you take that person's influence away.
Okay. Well, okay, no, that's fine. We'll
Yeah.
do it that way.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, that's, yeah, so if, I mean, does that not make sense to you?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No, we'll just keep going.
Okay. So, that is one extra influence for, or rather, team for having influence over everyone. So, we would be at 4. Does everyone have the same purpose in this fight?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
To,
yeah.
to get to get our friend back.
Well,
Get our friend back and save any
yeah,
civilians.
and end this this threat to the citizens of Halcyon City. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of
Yeah.
different things there, and we could have different priorities.
That is true.
Does it matter if I mean, Game Master? If we have, we all agree on all three of those.
What I would
things,
say
right?
is so I would say, just from a character standpoint, each of you tell me what your purpose in this fight is, and understanding that not everyone might say the same thing, and if they are meaningfully different, then we say no to this question.
Leave everyone at risk.
Yeah, Vanguard, he is just trying to get our teammate back because he's not seen this as a threat to other people. He knows it's a threat if they had got caught in it, but now that it's triggered, it's us and whatever's down here. And the authorities should be cordoning off the area.
I'm not trying to force there to be a difference in opinion here. I'm not pressing that, but I'm asking if anyone feels like their purpose in the fight would be something other than rescuing Antares.
Yeah, and I think there could be, especially because some of us don't know, like, we know details, but we're told, but we didn't see it.
Well,
right?
I mean, but that's each character's to decide. You've already said that's what yours is. So, is there anyone that would say something else than that?
No.
Okay,
Mayhem.
this wasn't supposed to be a hard question. Okay, if any team member mistrusts the leader or the team,
I don't.
No.
Kiri might trust of Mayhem might be wavering, but I don't think overall she mistrusts the team.
okay. I think that we can go ahead and include that then. However, if your team is ill prepared or off balance, remove a team. I'm definitely going to take one for that.
Yeah.
So let's see. You would be, 3, 4, 5, 6, back to 5. So we're at 5 team to start. And so, Antares, you are there watching for your moment of opportunity.
Right.
You see that at some point, this giant lobster person, like holds up his claw and sort of clicks it, like almost like snapping his fingers, and then he and his 2 flunkies kind of go off somewhere you can't see for a moment. And then all of a sudden they're returning with a great big sort of like a net thing holding over their shoulders. It's a great big balloon that seems to be bulging with new people that have been caught, and they're bringing it over to add to the tank.
Crap. More people to save. Great. Okay. But all right.
So I think as they are approaching with this big sort of bulging balloon net sort of thing, and they're leaning down to unlatch the bottom of this tank.
All right, and then now it's time for Antares, having no idea what the rest of his team is up to do something really dumb and stupid. So, as soon as that hatch opens, I am going to I'm going to unleash my powers and let forth a gout of cosmic energy at the lobster creature, and
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so unleash your powers would be if you're trying to overcome an obstacle, reshape your
Okay.
environment, and so on. That sounds like if you're doing it to the lobster, that sounds like directly engage a threat.
Okay, directly engage a threat then.
Okay, so go ahead and roll plus danger.
All right.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
crapola!
Okay, yeah. So
Well, that went
that's a
bad.
5. That's a miss. So I think that as you are, channeling some of this power, all of a sudden the the other occupants of your tank are seeing you do this power, and there's this moment of like, oh, and then the lobsterman just like slams you with the claw, shoving you back into the tank pretty vigorously, and they're like, oh. So go ahead and take a condition. I think that you don't get to pick any of those items, but I think that you have. Let's see. This is a good question. Like on directly engage a threat. I'm gonna pull up just the way that moves, because is the intent that you, because it says, whoops, I'm losing my reference. So on a miss is the, on a hit trade blows. So yeah, if you miss, you don't do any damage. So but you're gonna take a condition for getting slammed back into the.
Taurus is pissed.
Mhm.
He's thinking angry. It's like, yeah.
So I think
here
that.
is not angry.
uh,
Oh wait, oh no.
So I think that then, as you are sort of shoved back in, the lobster takes the rest of this and this balloon and sort of shoves it in and deflates it, and all of a sudden the rest of your team sort of tumble out of it into the tank with you, and Chadwick at this point is like, okay, finally something interesting is happening now. Like, it seems like there's some superheroes here. I mean, I don't, they don't look like they're, no one famous or anything, but at least something's happening, right? And, yeah. And, so I think at this point, everybody is now sort of tumbled into this tank. You now see that you're in the same situation, and you all hear the latch at the bottom once again click, and there's a bunch of these creatures, these patrons of this restaurant, crowd around because now there's some new choices that they might order.
So basically, there's a glass looking out into this restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We're in the lobster tank.
Mm-hmm.
Vanguard is still very angry from above.
Join the club.
So he says, "Move the civilians, please." And he is going to reach back, and punch his way through this glass using his super strength.
Oh my god!
I think
Would it
that
be obvious to
Mayhem
us how-
is going to get in the way.
Somebody needs to stop him. Please stop him, because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mayhem's going to
Vanguard,
get in the
Vanguard,
way.
Vanguard.
We are
We need to
several
wait.
hundred
We
feet
need to
down. You
hold.
will kill us all and kill them.
I think
Well, we just
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to my problem.
think about it. How did they get us in here without flooding the tank?
Well, so also, let me just briefly say, Vanguard, if you don't think that you would let them stop you, we can have you go ahead and do the move. If you think you are receptive to them stopping you, then that's fine.
no, he would not punch Mayhem. No,
Sure.
no, he would not punch me.
Okay.
But-
I was just saying, it's like,
No.
if you were determined, you could still do it. I'm not, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
He's
But
just
I
like,
think there's maybe like when there's a moment of them pointing it out, you're kind of like, oh yeah, maybe I should not break the only thing that has air in it that I can see.
and he's like, So he looks back at the door, and so does the like? Is it like an air bubble around us? Does it?
Yeah,
Is
so no, it's basically I want you to picture a fancy restaurant that has a lobster tank where you pick the live lobster that you want. Only now it's underwater so that it's air in the tank, right?
Yeah.
And it's big.
Yeah.
So like you're all fitting in this thing. Although I think at this point with 8 people in there, it's a little you're kind of in each other's
Right.
business a little bit
Yeah.
now. But
I-
so it is. But the lid, the part that opens, is on the bottom, obviously, because the air would rise.
Where
Yeah.
I tried to attack when you guys came and got.
So if the lid has been opened, I am going to dive out.
No, the lid
Well, it's
was
closed.
Closed
opened
It's now
to
closed.
insert you and then
Yeah.
closed
Yeah,
again.
I'll close again.
Okay.
wait,
So-
Flair, do you breathe oxygen?
No. I eat hydrogen.
But could you make us tanks of oxygen?
I have an idea, but I need to be outside the tank.
Okay.
So I'm gonna wait till they
so-
open it up to go and do something.
Oh,
The next time they
Or-
open the
Somebody
tank is
opens
probably
it.
when they want to eat one of us.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, how about directly address a threat, and I will punch the latch open?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think
Sure.
in this case, though, this is a to overcome an obstacle, so that would
Yeah.
be unleash
Yeah.
your powers.
Okay.
and I will help you. So if you want to
roll
add a
plus
team,
freak, and we'll add the help if that seems necessary.
Okay, so I rolled danger instead of freak to unleash my powers. And because I'm angry, I take +1, so I'm going to be rolling +4.
Okay.
nice
Yeah,
pretty stats.
So let's see.
big bucks, no whammies.
Rolls 2 1s.
God, don't jinx me like that, man.
That's what I just.
All
did
right,
last
that's a 9.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that in this case, you realize that I think maybe all that happens, as far as it being, because it's, well, then again, it's a 9. If we want to go ahead and use the team to add the help, you could just make that a 10 instead of having
Yeah,
to figure
a
out
decent amount of team.
Yeah, make that the 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And because I can fly, I'm helping us push it up.
Okay. Well, no, so
Push
it's
it
on
up?
the bottom.
Oh,
right?
it's on the
Because-
bottom?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
because if
Yeah.
you think the air is, if they want to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to open it, the air would all come out if it was on the top.
So then we're then
Yeah.
we're just doing some unison punches. We're just punching this door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think yes, with your super strength, you are able to, to slam the hatch open. The latch on it is broken, and so as a result, the lid now flies loose. Everyone who has the no ability to breathe water is more or less just as trapped as they were before. But
So-
it is open now.
I am going to swim out. There's
Chadwick is
And
filming
I am-
all of this, by the way.
Of course
Yeah.
he is.
and I once I've got a way open, I'm going to swim out and I'm going to use my heliokinesis to sever whatever is connecting this tank so that it doesn't float upwards.
Okay.
Basically, the anchor.
Oh, so you mean so
Whatever-
it does float?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I want to use this thing as a lifeboat to get people up to the surface.
Okay.
So the first thing I need to do is break it free of whatever moorings it has here
Sure.
in the area.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that it's basically got, like a metal sort of stand.
Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining that it's actually, I'm like, there's sort of 4, like, almost like chair legs
Right.
that are metal. And so you can start heating your way through there. I think because you're underwater, it's not impossible, but it's, it's a bit harder.
Right.
But that's certainly an unleash your powers situation, it would seem
Yeah.
to me.
That's a miss.
Oh,
Something
dear.
goes wrong.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So I think what happens is that as you are sort of positioning yourself to do that, all of a sudden you are walloped by a giant lobster tail as he uses his tail slam move on you. And I'm gonna have
Okay.
you roll to take a powerful blow.
Okay.
So that is
I
rolling
only
plus
have one
conditions marked.
condition.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a special click for that? No.
Take a
Okay.
powerful
It's
blow.
up above the condition list.
Oh, there it is. Up in conditions. Right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Full
Oh
hit.
dear.
Oh
So well, no,
no.
Oh
full hit is
no.
bad on
Oh.
this move.
Yeah.
On a
that's
10
right.
plus,
That's
choose one.
right.
You
Yeah.
must remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc., or you lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way.
Oh, crap.
Or you can pick two of the options from the 7 to 9 list, which is you struggle against past the pain mark 2 conditions, you give ground, our opposition gets an opportunity, or you lash out verbally and provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, etc.
I think I'm taken out. The blow just blasts me right out of the restaurant, and
Mm-hmm.
I just disappear into the darkness.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this tail slam, lobsters notably, notoriously even powerful, muscly tails.
Yes.
They use them
Yeah.
for swimming generally, more so than slamming
Smacking
sun
things.
dwellers into the distance. But in this case, he's a big lobster. He's not just a lobster either. He is the Lobstahman. We have
Dun, dun, dun.
his big introductory panel here where we see that he has just, team rocketed flare into.
Oh, blast off again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's a lobster man.
And so I think you, as he's revealed, you see his two, his two flunkies behind him too, and he is looking down at the rest of you and saying, "I'm gonna need you to get back in that tank."
Heck no. And Kiri's going to go in and try and punch.
Okay, well, so you are jumping into the water to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's I will let you do the roll here, but obviously this is a potential challenging. I think what we'll just say is the stakes are high for if things don't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that would be directly engage a threat.
Yeah, and I don't think dramatically under fire really counts at this point.
No, not really. It's more of a standoff until you're
Yeah.
jumping in to fight. So
Right.
Yeah, so. Oh boy. Ugh.
Oh,
Oh
dear.
my god.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's another miss. So I think you're going to need to roll to take a powerful blow as well.
Okay. Would never give up, never surrender count on this one.
Well, remind me what's the trigger of that move.
When you take a powerful blow from someone with far greater power than you, use this instead of the basic move. For take a powerful
yeah,
blow.
that would absolutely apply.
Okay.
This is exactly what it's for.
Okay. Full hit, and that's good on this one.
Well, so where is this move coming from? I know it's not one of your
it's
regular.
from the Legacy Team handbook.
Right. Let me look that up. Okay. Yeah. So you rolled on a hit. You stand strong and choose one. On a 7 to 9, you'd mark a condition. Okay. So you got a full hit though.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go ahead and choose. You get an opportunity or opening against your attacker. You rally from the hit, and it inspires the team. Add 1 to the pool, or you keep your attacker's attention.
I think I will keep my attacker's attention.
Okay. So
'Cause-
okay. So I think in this case, then you still got the miss for trying to punch, but when
Yeah.
he goes to just grab you with his gigantic claw, you do like a fancy little flip.
I kick off a little bit from whatever surface
Hmm.
I'm on, and and kick off again from his claw, and kind of do a flip.
Yeah, so you're sort of flipping over up around behind him, so he kind of has to turn to like follow you.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
great,
And
great.
would I take a condition from
No, because
the miss?
you got a full hit. Oh, so
Okay.
no, because your consequence for the miss was having to take a powerful
Okay.
blow, but because of the
Good.
nature of your move, you stand strong and then choose
Yay.
one of these options here. So
Okay.
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think that yeah, you've ill, so if everyone has seen Deep Blue Sea. There's Thomas Jane has this thing that he does twice in the movie, where he has inexplicable some little like Legolas jumping on the horse sideways move that he does when the shark is charging him. He does a weird little kickflip in the water that lets him avoid the mouth and be like grabbed onto the shark's fin instead. And so I think that that's kind of the vibe that we're going from here is that you have just used your exceptional agility to avoid the grab of this giant claw. And so I think the Lobstahman is trying to continue to grab at you, but he's saying, you know, pistol shrimp, Jimmy the Crab,
Oh shit.
close up the rest of that tank.
Okay.
Oh, that
I'm gonna look at Vanguard and Antares and it's like, okay, you can fly. Antares, you can't fly. Is that correct?
Only under very limited weird conditions. That does remind me what I need to do. So without any further ado, Antares closes his eyes and he tries to bring up the burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time for the burn.
Yeah, because what I was thinking is Flair's idea isn't all that bad. We're trying to like cut through the legs on this thing and then get it somewhere else.
Right, out of the depths.
So
Yeah.
the Nova is ready to charge up his powers. Roll plus the conditions you have marked.
Which I have one, which means I'm not actually at optimal ability to do this, but we'll give this a shot anyway. Let's see what happens. Oh,
Okay,
Oh,
well,
no.
so that's a miss. Make sure everyone who's rolling misses is marking experience for that.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
so I get-
so on a miss, what that means is that you get 2 burn, but
like
you
3
have to
more
mark
conditions.
3 conditions, and since you already had 1, that means you're at 4.
Yes, I am now vulnerable again.
Mhm.
Okay, but at least I have a little power. But
Yeah. Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that like what 3 conditions do you take and like how is this reflected? Like what are people seeing as you charge up your power in this way that's upsetting you in such a dramatic fashion?
you see the general glow, but then he gets a glance at Curie struggling, at a glance. I see whatever happened to Flair, and he's afraid, he's insecure. They can actually help here, and he's feeling a little hopeless at that they're going to get out of this alive.
Okay.
So
Do we have any kind of a visual signifier of what it looks like when I think we've established your eyes glow.
my eyes glows and my body glows. So
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'm radiant now. So
Okay.
our little social media influencer filming this will get lots of great footage if he lives.
Yeah. Either that or you're gonna blow out his camera, dude.
Yeah.
That may yet happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think actually it gets hot in his hand, and he's like, he's not letting it go. He's just like
Of course
moving
not.
his fingers around to like
Of
hold
course
it.
not.
Yeah.
But okay, so now that you've got 2 burn, you have 2 burn that you can use a flare
Right.
on.
Right. So my last upgrade, I took 3 more flares. So it's time to reshape this environment. So we're going to use the
Okay.
new one called Overcharge.
Oh,
You channel the
okay.
full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. Spend 2 burn to take a 10+ when you unleash your powers.
Okay. So basically, what that means is that you are doing the unleash your powers move, and if you're spending the burn, you just get a 10 plus result.
Right.
So tell me
Mhm.
how you are reshaping your environment with your incredible powers.
We are underwater in a place we can't breathe with all the odds against us. So it is time to create as large as possible an air pocket around this tank and around through this restaurant to give us an area where we can fight and take the fight to the enemy and save these people. So basically, I'm
Okay.
basically reshaping the undersea floor into a gigantic air bubble with
You're
the power of my abilities.
you're heating up the water and releasing its oxygen.
It
Well,
might be a
I
little,
mean,
might be a,
I'm
no, it's a
envisioning this
molecular
like
transformation.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
this is supernatural cosmic power. It's
Yeah,
not
it's like
necessarily
Yeah.
just physics, right?
Like
water
Um,
becomes oxygen and
No,
nitrogen.
because I think the
Hydrogen.
incredible image that this provides now is everything's wet and dripping, but there's this dome where you see the water surface around you, this bubble that's clung to the bottom, so now everything that was in this vicinity, which includes the Lobstahman and his flunkies and everyone else, short of Flair, and then I think that there's actually a couple of the tables with the aquatic restaurant patrons that were sort of in this, but suddenly are flip flopping along this ground to try to get back into the water. Question: as you have just created this air pocket, is the boundary permeable or no? Meaning, if someone is trying to get through it, can they?
Yes, it is permeable.
Okay.
This way, Flair can get back in.
All right, so
That's what I'm
a
thinking.
And
parting
Curie.
the Red Sea deal.
Yeah,
only
that's
it's a dome
exactly what I
on
was
the
thinking
bottom
of.
the ocean.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Yes.
That's great. I love that.
Of course,
really
now I
do.
have no flares and I have 4 conditions, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it. And now my teammates can kick ass.
So I think both the Lobsterman and Jimmy the Crab both look, like annoyed and uncomfortable with this outcome. But I think Pistol Shrimp is he's seeming like he's trying to get out of this this air pocket. So he is. I'm going to go ahead and just give him. Yeah, so he is his goal at the moment is to just try to get back into the water, but in the meantime, though, the Lobsterman is continuing to go after Curie, and then Jimmy the Crab, I think, is rushing in to, let's see. Just because you did such a big obvious thing, Antares, I think is sort of closing in on you. Is someone else going to do something?
Yes. Has he attacked him yet, or is he
I mean,
going?
he's clearly getting ready to do so. Like he's
Bend.
moving in, and you notice that he is on his many legs. He's kind of got an erratic. His move is he comes at you sideways. So he's not. This is not just a full on charge. He's kind of got an erratic movement, and so, but he is clearly
He's
moving in
grappled.
to attack.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will fly up out of the tank so I can look down on the battlefield
Mm-hmm.
that Flair has, not Flair, but that has been created by this wonderful moment. And I see the crab going for the one who made this moment. So I'm going to simply unleash the man with the golden gun. And I'm going to summon my mark and shoot this man.
All right. So this would be directly engage a threat. Sounds like.
No, for me, unleash my power because it's my little fancy golden gun thingy.
Okay, well, but it's still an directly
yeah.
engage a threat move because you're using your power, but what
Yeah.
you're using it for is to attack something, which is a directly engage a threat. You unleash your powers is when you are overcoming an obstacle, reshaping your environment, or extending your senses.
So this is what danger, I think it is.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's it. That's an 8. So that's you are going to trade blows with this creature. On 7 to 9, you are picking one from the list. So in addition to applying a condition to them, you can also choose to resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten.
I want to create an opportunity for him to get out of the way of the crab or get away from the crab. Because I don't know if he has to concentrate
Yeah.
on keeping this active.
Sure. I think that I'm going to give you, like, you can, you're going to get an opportunity, and it'll be more than that.
Okay.
But because you didn't choose to resist or avoid their blows, that means you're applying a condition to them, but you're also going to take a condition.
Yes.
And so I think that, which condition did I give that guy? Right. I think that, I think, so what does it look like when you use your mark here? Describe the image for us.
Basically, you see him kind of draw from his hip and reach up. The light coalesces, and he has the weapon forward, and he fires. You know, very much like again, Destiny's Golden Gun, or maybe like Yu Yu Hakusho's finger gun kind of thing. But he does, and it does have. But I will say his eyes do flare up, and he gets, and the actual marksman mark on his suit actually does glow from this.
Okay. I think that you fire, and this energy blast just shears off. You know what? Actually, if I may, it is kind of just a glancing blow that kind of does the equivalent of
Parting his hair.
Yeah, exactly. So and so like he's got sort of the skull, but there's basically just like a scorch mark straight over like the top.
Yeah,
of
there's some smoke rising up.
His shell, but it's like dramatic, and then all of a sudden, his little sort of his little crab eyes are wide, and then he just suddenly drops to his little crab knees, such as they are, and just goes, I'm sorry. He made me do it. And as he's like, like retreating to get away from you, he is actually backing into the Lobstahman and sort of like, like knocking him over, as he is trying to retreat. So Jimmy the Crab is trying to retreat at this point, but he has also knocked the Lobstahman off balance.
Yay!
And I will mark insecure because he's like, he still doesn't have control.
I think that I think you fired that, but I think he had gotten close enough that perhaps you just sort of like
it threw off my aim.
Yeah.
And I was because again this is like the second or third time I've used it, so he's like, darn it.
Yeah. So I think like he started charging towards you, and he kind of whacked you with his claw, but you still got off that, the glancing blow, which was enough for this guy apparently.
Okay.
But so Mayhem.
I think seeing all of this and the fact that Jimmy the Crab has knocked our big bad lobster man off balance, she's going to rush in and try to kick him all the way on his back.
Okay. So I think that's also going to be a directly engage a threat.
Yep.
That's something I don't know. If you turn a lobster over, can it turn itself over?
I think
I'm
so.
certain
In the
it has.
water,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. In the water, 100% easily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
I imagine
in the
even
land,
on-
I think they could, because they're
They flex their tail up and
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, they
think
can
so,
use
but
their
that doesn't
claws.
mean that it's like it's trivial,
Easy.
especially when
Right.
someone as strong as Mayhem is
Kicking.
trying to pin them. Look at that.
Full hit.
Yeah.
Full hit.
Nice.
So this is
All
a
right.
directly engage a threat. So you're trading blows, and you can pick 2 from the list for your 10.
All right. I'm going to avoid.
Avoid their blows.
Avoid their blows. Um,
You know,
and
take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I'm going to go with impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Okay. So yeah, I think that as you are, you're going to apply. I had this list of what. I think you're going to apply insecure to the lobsterman as you sort of flip him over in that way. He flails out at you, but is unable to, to strike you. And you've got him temporarily embarrassed, where he, you know what? Instead of insecure, let's just go ahead and say afraid, because that's the more straightforward result of frighten the opposition, where he's realizing like, oh gosh, you are much more, impressive than he thought. And so I think that he is in an immediate response after that. Let's see. I think he is going to. Yeah, I think he is going to use his powerful tail to kind of flip himself back up and sort of into the air, to the point where he is sort of out of the immediate fray and back into the water. He is sort of fleeing from danger or difficulty to get himself out of the little fray with you.
Okay.
And I think meanwhile, Pistol Shrimp has flopped his way back into the water. And you watch as he is now reaching down to his side, and in his little shrimp leg, big, I guess, shrimp leg, he's pulling a gun. And he's gonna shoot at. Let's see. Mayhem did the most recent obvious thing. So I think that I think that the firing is here's what's happening to make this more interesting is the bullets from Pistol Shrimp's gun are not enough to hurt you, Mayhem, but as they ricochet off of you, they're going and they're like hitting the glass, and like some of the other like passersby are like huddling like because the ricochets are going in unpredictable ways, and so he's firing at you, which is not hurting you, Mayhem, but it's putting others in danger.
Oof.
So Curie, you probably have a opportunity now that the Lobsterman has sort of flipped up and out of the way. You could do. What would you like to do?
I think Kyrie's gonna go ahead and go after Pistol Shrimp.
Okay.
Why the heck not?
So you're jumping back into the water. It worked fine last time, so sure, why not? Let's go ahead and have that be another directly engaged threat.
Would this be considered dramatically under fire?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You're literally dodging bullets as you do it.
Good. That helps. Because I can roll save here and set danger. And I got a hit.
Okay.
Yay!
So that's a 7, which means that you are going to inflict a condition on them, and you can choose one of the list of resist or avoid their blows, take something from them.
I think I'm going to resist or avoid blows.
Straightforward and sufficient. So what is it that you do to Pistol Shrimp that renders them no longer a threat? I mean, it could be as simple as you kick the gun out of their hand.
Well, I think I go in and I grab the gun, and it's a little, or no, I grab. Actually, there's like a rock on the ground.
Okay.
I grab it and just smash the gun, and that renders it unusable.
Okay, I mean, I think we'll allow that. Although I'm imagining a regular gun probably would not be rendered unusable by hitting it with a rock.
I mean, um,
You can knock it out of his hand at least.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
just certainly do that.
Yeah.
And it sort of like, spins and skitters away back into the dry area where he obviously doesn't want to go.
yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And so I think that as you apply hopeless to Pistol Shrimp, he is going to just give up without a fight. He is, he's, well,
He's a one.
he was just
condition
shooting
minion.
at you.
Yeah.
So he also flees. And I think that at this point, with his two flunkies having left the scene, the Lobsterman is kind of like he's testing this boundary where he's like putting his claws through it, and he's just saying, "I should have known that you superheroes would come and ruin everything. Don't you know what it's like as a lobster in a city that's on the coast, renowned for its seafood? I thought for once we'd see how you like it. But now you're ruining everything. Plus, you know how many loans I took out to start this place? Running a restaurant is a hard business."
Mhm.
Oh my God, he is a New Englander.
And
Yeah.
and Vanguard's like, wait, are all of you guys like? If that's the issue, we could talk with the mayor. We could make it so that people don't fish for lobsters and seafood around the area.
Well,
Uh,
no,
Especially
probably
if
not.
well, I
I
mean, if they come off onto land and say, "Hey, you're eating my grandma," like I think that would change people up a little bit, or at least not in our area. You know, people make prohibited areas for fishing and stuff all the time.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about the hot lobster chicks up in Maine. I would have moved.
You know, like,
I think that as you are proposing something that you would have absolutely no power at all to deliver on, he is going to pick up one of the tables and hurl it with his prodigious strength into the bubble at you, Vanguard. Roll to take a powerful blow.
then sure thing, and I will also have used never give up, never surrender.
Okay.
Let's see. So that is rolling with savior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got one roll. Roll. Okay, that's a hit.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you are going to need to mark a condition, but you can you are going to stand strong and choose one of these things. So you'll get to describe how you stand strong against this hurled table, but you don't choose one of those additional lists. So you just like, so how do you avoid or withstand?
Honestly, he's just throwing a table at him.
Yeah, I mean he's throwing it pretty hard.
Yeah. But he will. You guys see him tense his muscles, like he just stands there and he'll just take it, and it just shatters, almost like Superman style. And he's like, I literally fired a beam of energy from my hand, and my whole team is here, -1 that you also yeeted. Do you really want to continue this when I'm trying to advocate for lobster rights?
It's all you air breathers can do is promise, promise, promise. It's all just words. Never will it actually happen. The only way to make change is to be the change you want to see in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That is
yeah,
amazing.
so
And Vanguard goes,
I think he's getting ready. I think, in fact, actually, he sort of backs away a little bit and pulls back a curtain of seaweed to reveal he's got the whole, kitchen set up in there, like all the knives and everything. And so he is now, with his claws, drawing chef knives.
Oh dear God.
So,
By the way,
who
I
else?
just have in my head, I just have the giant crab dude from the from SpongeBob, the one that works out all the time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's just all I can keep imagining. He's got these tiny little chef knives.
Mm-hmm. No, to be fair to him, these are big chef knives.
Mhm.
Like they're
They're
proportional
appropriate
to
size for him.
to
Right.
him, but he does have proportionally big claws too. So they still look little in the claws, but if you were to hold it, it would be a big chef knife.
Ah.
But it still does look silly. Also, just he's got giant claws. What does he need knives for? But
Right. Yeah, they were so effective early.
yeah, but I think he is getting ready to hurl those. It looks like he's gonna throw them because he's trying to stay out of the air pocket. But
Okay.
who else would like to do something?
Um. Okay. Mayhem will dive into the water and go kick a guy in the knee.
Okay. Yeah. Directly
Let's-
engage a threat.
Yep. Let's see what happens.
He was on the path to villainy until he took an arrow to the knee.
That was
All
a
right.
9.
That's a 9. So you're going to trade blows and pick one from the list, unless someone is helping you to make it a 10.
I think Kiri would like to also go in and basically create a
Sure. Yeah. I love
distraction
the
on one
idea of the
side,
two
so
of you helping
has
each
to-
other in these
Yeah.
circumstances. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can go back to sparring later.
Yeah.
All right. So you're using a team then to make that a 10. And so I think you choose. You're going to apply another condition, and you can choose 2 from the list there.
Okay. Definitely avoid or resist their blows. I want to
Take the
create an
knife.
opportunity for Vanguard to shoot this guy.
Okay. All right. So I think that describe for me what this team up attack with Curie and Mayhem looks like.
Huh.
I think
What would Curie do? What would Curie do?
Well, I can just imagine just Mayhem just running, jumping through the side of the bubble, and almost like superhero or Superman punch kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And the Lobstahman, turn. It's about to turn to jab with the knife, but Kiri comes in and just kind of a little flailing, but grabs at one of his claws, so he turns to present his leg.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice,
So
clean
she makes
shot.
him. So Curie makes the Lobstahman turn into the punch to the leg, rather
Yeah.
than. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I will go with that.
All right. So I think that you've applied Insecure to him, and I think he's saying, look, I know I kidnapped humans, and I get that's why you're angry here, but you can't change the world without killing a few humans. And and so I think that he is going to he's getting ready to with Mayhem and Curie right there. He's going to try to just grab the two of you with his big old pinchers.
Okay.
So I think
Powerful
I'm going
blow.
to ask actually both of you in this case because he's got two pinchers. You see, I'm going to
Okay.
ask
Okay.
both of you to unleash your powers to try to escape the obstacle that of him
Oh boy.
grabbing you.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This is. Oh.
Okay. Is there a way that Mayhem could? I haven't rolled yet. Is there a way that Mayhem can unleash her powers to defend Curie?
Um,
Because that I've got Defender.
Yeah.
Curie is my rival.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. There's basically two attacks happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you can do that, but you have to essentially deal with both attacks. So you have to roll yourself for one, and then roll again to defend.
Okay. Okay,
And so
I'll do
even
that.
though we ended up with a roll from Curie here, in this case, this is going to be potentially not needed depending on how Mayhem's rolls go.
Okay.
So for your own roll, first unleash your powers to overcome an obstacle.
Okay. Full hit.
Okay, look at that. Yeah, so I think for him, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and suggest here that this is just a situation where he goes to grab you with his big claw and you just force his claw back apart. Right? You know,
Yeah.
like you're just too strong for him to grab in that way. And
Mhm.
then as you're ducking out of that grip to defend Curie, go ahead and roll plus savior.
Okay, so my defender, I roll danger instead
Okay.
of savior.
Great.
Good.
And that's another full hit.
Another full hit. Wow, look at that. So
I am never going to advance at all.
you're doing okay. Advancements are for people who need help.
So does the roll I made count at all?
No. Basically,
Okay.
she has put herself in harm's way in your stead.
Okay.
And in this case, so so you keep Curie safe, and you can choose one of the three of add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition.
I'm going to add team to the pool
Okay.
because we're not out of this yet.
Nope. Okay. Great. I think that that last attempt to attack the two of you didn't go well. You were also so previously trying to create an opportunity, which I think we didn't fully allow for. We'll just say that, like, at this moment, like his attempt to grab the two of you going so poorly, he is entirely focused on that, and so Antares or Vanguard, he is not paying attention to you at all at the moment.
Right. And Taurus is still in the tank holding this field up, so he hasn't actually gone out
Okay.
into.
All right. So is this
into
something
this.
you're having to maintain?
I'm kind.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
The role doesn't say, but that's why I feel like that's the
I
best way to
I
fix
buy
it.
that. It's certainly
Yeah.
not a stable.
No, so
situation.
I'm kind of just like holding it, so
Okay,
like
great.
everybody
So,
else
yeah,
fighting it.
Well, I think we would maybe cut to just a close up of, like, some sweat dripping down your forehead.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to eat so much
straining.
after this; it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so
So-
Vanguard.
Since I know we were trying to separate the kind of tank thing from it, but we got a bubble, or can I try to Superman this thing out of here? Can I try to, like, get underneath where it's been separated and trying to push it away completely to get it out
Okay.
of there?
I think that so right now, obviously, because of the air pocket, it's kind of just like everyone's standing on the ground now, not in the tank,
Yeah.
because there's no water below, and the latch was completely open. But if you want to unleash your powers to try to just go ahead and fully separate it so that you could lift it up out,
Yes.
then yes, you can go ahead and do that.
Absolutely.
Roll plus freak.
All right.
Where did the window I have the map open.
Oh,
Did I close it by accident? I might
I
have.
don't know.
Yep, I did. There we go.
Okay.
Hey, nice.
That's an 8. So I think that what you are able to break it free, but what you find is that it's a little bit destabilized, which means that you think that while right now, if you were to like lift this thing, like if you bundled everyone back in and then like held the bottom closed, right? You could lift it up out of the water and it would hold the air in the pocket
Okay.
long enough to get to the surface probably, but it is now pretty rickety. So you think that
Right.
like it wouldn't take much for the whole thing to just collapse.
Now, are just the civilians inside?
Well,
I
right
am as
now
well.
nobody's inside
Okay.
because you all kicked the bottom of it open and
Oh,
now
right.
there's no water below
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, but if you have them like lift them up back inside and then close that bottom again, they could stand on that and you could have it like that. Just so that you could like carry it.
Okay.
But so you would need to kind of get them back inside though, because right now they're not.
I
Because you all broke the bottom open and
Yep.
then
Right,
now
right.
there's no water. Yeah.
well, I got it separated. That's good.
Yeah.
Please balance yourselves, and because I don't want you to tip it, because if it falls any deeper, we're in deep.
Okay.
Deep.
Let's have you provoke someone to try to guide them to follow your instructions. So that's roll plus superior.
Come on. Oh.
Oh,
boy.
I can't even help that. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a 3. That's a miss. I think that Nadine is Nadine seems cooperative enough. Vicky, the old lady, seems like she's listening to you, but she's also just moving very slowly. But meanwhile, Chadwick
God.
is looking down at his hand, and you see he's holding a now waterlogged phone.
Ooh.
And he looks
Oh.
up at you with that like the Kubrick
Oh,
looking
God.
up at you stare, and he's just
Oh.
like, "You're gonna pay for this." Curie, Mayhem, you still got the Lobstahman trying to grab you. He's looking a little destabilized at this point. Things are not going well. It seems like most of his patrons have swum away.
I think right now just try to just keep on just try and drive them away with in water, so can't speak, so I have only one tool in my
Sure.
Brain?
Go ahead and directly
Yes.
engage a threat.
yes
Roll plus danger.
oh,
Oh boy.
or superior or savior for me.
Well,
I
right.
I mean, I'm under fire from a powerful.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm starting to wonder. Just thinking about that move a little bit because I don't think the
I mean, if
intent
you
is
want me
that
to
you
do
can.
danger, I'll do
Well,
danger.
okay, hang on. I don't think that the intent is just that you can always use the other stat, right? I think we need to really think about what the condition of it is. And so if it's, let me look at it. So this is the.
It's from the beacon.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking. So hang on. When you stand strong while dramatically under fire.
Well, I
Yeah.
can read
Okay.
up the.
Yeah. No,
how to play.
I found it. I got it. I think it'll apply in this case partly only because you are literally holding your breath and he's trying to grab you, and so I'll count it in this case. It won't all. You can't just always use it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's a 10.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what does this look like?
I think, yeah, the way he's looking a little shaky is like kind of allows Curie to see some essentially cracks in his armor, and
Mm-hmm.
those cracks are what a Curie goes for, and just like and maybe just happen to be like you know some nerve endings, so
Okay.
maybe causes it. She hits like uh where where a claw joins the body, and that claw goes limp.
I will actually suggest, just for fun, do you think that there would have been some brief little flashback scene we could see of your dad showing you how to crack lobster for when you have it at a restaurant?
I think, yeah, Carrie's high school graduation, they she him her and her dad had lobster,
Nice.
and yeah.
Yeah, so I can imagine just that it's kind of just showing like here's the places where it's weaker and you can kind of crunch it, and just showing you attacking those places just for
Yeah.
the fun image there. But certainly with your um, your full hit, then I'm trying to I keep scrolling away from different pages. So you're still doing the basic move though. So on a 10 plus, you're picking two of those things. So you're trading blows, but in your
Resisting
okay, yep,
and um impressed, surprised, or frightened.
yeah,
Yeah, because then
okay.
if he runs, we won't we won't chase him.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So I think that you do apply another condition to him, and I think that as he is taking those hits, he's sort of he's backing further away, and like looking around at his empty restaurant and everything, and just kind of saying, "Meat's not worth the trouble anyway," and he swims away. So, meanwhile, Atari's continuing to strain as this air bubble, and I
Keep
think we would
straining.
even maybe have a couple of panels of it like going,
Oh,
or like swirling ominously.
Oh yeah. I can't keep
Vanguard
this up forever.
trying to rig up this tank.
Curie is like flailing back towards the bubble because
Yeah. So no, you guys still have rolls. This is not done.
As
No.
Chad-
You're on the
as I'm
bottom of the
sure-
ocean.
As I'm sure Chad is ready to strangle me.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to physically attack you, but he just looks like you've
Oh,
made
yeah,
a
no,
new
he's very
enemy.
upset.
That's all.
I'm very upset.
Yeah, Mayhem is gonna swim back to the bubble of air, and she's going to see if she can spot Flare.
No, I'm going to not require you to use your turn to fail to do that.
Okay.
Team
So
Rocketed.
Flare's
You,
just-
you disappeared into a little pinpoint and went bing.
Okay.
We'll get back to Flare in a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Flare is out for the scene mechanically.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In that case, we need to figure out some way to get this lock to work again.
I mean, right now, I think it's functional, just rickety is where we left it with Vanguard's move.
Yeah.
gotta
Okay.
get people in.
It just like yeah. So like if you can, I think you can get people in. It's just if things don't go well, one of the ways it could go bad is that this thing could fall apart. That's where it is.
Okay. Because I was trying to think of, could we like wedge a piece of a table in there to create a something to stand on?
So that's what okay. Let me reiterate.
Yeah.
What has already been done is that the tank has been separated from the ground, and the lid is there so that people can stand on it. It's just that in the process of breaking it free from the ground, the whole thing has less structural integrity. So
Okay.
if there's a problem, it could fail. I'm not saying there's not anything other any other thing to be done.
Okay.
But that said, you are all going to need to do some rolls, some moves to get everybody out. And so what I was establishing is only that.
Okay.
That is
okay,
one of the
okay.
ways that it could go bad if things go bad. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you could do things if you wanted to try to mitigate that element of it, but it's not that there's something that has to be fixed in order for you to proceed.
Okay. Okay. Um, if the if the bid is or if the latch is closed enough that people can stand on it,
Got to get people
I'll start.
into it.
Yeah, that's the trick.
I'll pick up Vicky and see if I can get her back in there.
Sure. Yeah. So I think that's fine. And then I think that seeing that it's a life or death sort of situation, I mean, I think Chadwick is not going to like resist being placed in the thing that will save his life, but he does just still he's giving nascent supervillain face.
Mhm.
So, but so you can get them in there, but I think that we're still in a situation of you're still on the bottom of the ocean. This air pocket you're in is not going to last much longer.
No,
And,
I'm not holding this well, guys.
And develop, since Vanguard's the only one that can fly.
Is anyone else going in the tank?
I am.
Kiri is going in the tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she is going to, it's probably obvious that it's kind of rickety.
Yeah.
So Kiri is going to start giving them instructions on what to do if it starts to flood.
What I'll suggest is that having looked around at the situation, the what would be helpful in this case is for them helping them not to panic now.
Yeah.
Yeah, call
That you suspect that if this thing actually starts to break, there's really not a lot they can do.
Sure.
Right.
She will then
chill them out.
basically try and comfort.
Yeah. So go ahead and do roll mundane to try to talk these poor people into less of a panic. Well, look at that.
Ooh, full hit.
Yeah.
There we go. Don't need help.
You can you can add a team to the pool or clear a condition yourself if you'd like.
Okay. So, yeah, I am going to clear a condition for myself.
Great. Are you also in the tank, Mayhem?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So it is right now only you, Vanguard, that is not. You are strong and you can fly. You cannot breathe underwater. So what's the plan here?
Since I'm going to try to, can I use the top and just fly, like from inside the tank?
I mean, yes. So what I'm basically what this is an unleash your power situation, but I'm just illustrating that it's high stakes. Like this is I think actually in some ways, yeah. So I think depending on what happens, we might be in a defend situation. But right now it's an unleash your powers because the obstacle is you're at the bottom of the ocean.
Right. And so, yeah, he's going to do that. He is going to try to float and push this thing up to the side, and he's going to try to hold his breath and do it.
Okay.
Hopefully the Lobsterman is not lurking about.
Yeah, he seems like he swam away.
Okay.
All right.
That would suck to get sucker clawed.
Yeah. No, it definitely would. But yeah, so unleash your powers is going to be a roll plus freak. Okay, so that's a 7, which means that you're doing it. Are you marking a condition, or is the effect going to be unstable or temporary?
I will mark a condition And I'm doing this, but I am very afraid that I cannot because
Okay.
these are
Oh.
powers that I am not used to using.
And I think it's also just a recognition of
High pressure
there
moment.
is your friends and civilians here that could just straight up die if this goes poorly.
Right.
Um, all right, yeah. So, but I think that while you are feeling that fear, and I think that it maybe even lingers a little bit, just because you're realizing how critical it is, that you nonetheless manage with this, rigged up reverse aquarium. You manage to raise it up through the ocean depths with your power. You are holding your breath, and I think we get several panels of showing this being increasingly difficult. You're still having to hold your breath. You're also exerting. You're carrying all these people, but then we have a panel of just the ocean surface, and then emerges, and so everyone is safe now at the surface. I think there's a brief panel around to see that you're not out of sight of land, but you're certainly not just in the harbor anymore. So it's going to be a little bit of a journey to get back to the harbor. But now that everyone's where you can breathe, and unless anyone is having difficulty with any kind of a swimming element.
And I think you know, Carrie would offer to allow Vicky, that's the older lady, to
Oh,
hang
so
on.
I'm
hang on to
assuming that
her
the
wall.
civilians are staying in the tank as they get towed back in. But
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly it's the impulse is good.
Yeah.
And I think that yeah, so all of that we just like the end of Jaws has Brody and Hooper sort of paddling back in on boat debris. I think that's kind of where we leave this fight. Flare.
Blair.
Yeah.
Um, I
I've been
think
thinking about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
As it, yeah.
go ahead. Do you have an
So if
idea?
may I like propose a few panels of the comic, and then you can check off for that.
Sure, sure. I have some ideas too, but I would love to hear what you're thinking.
So um the we have a wide shot of the aquarium being pushed to towards the shore, and then we focus in on another part of that scene, and Flair is hung up in the supports of a wooden pier in the harbor district, and it's and I don't think we established a time of day, but I think it's appropriate if it's like sunset.
Sure.
And as the sun is setting on this scene, a pair of sunglasses glint in the failing light, and a hand reaches down and pulls him up from under the pier.
Sure. So I think I had a different idea, but you know what? That's fine.
Well,
We'll go with yours. I think that's
Because I just got the last advancement I needed to get the mask.
well. So
Oh,
I think we can definitely do elements of what you're talking about, but I'm actually
Okay,
going to suggest that what happens
I wanna hear
before
your
that.
idea, too.
What happens
Yeah.
before that would be
Okay,
just because
all right.
this is some additional stuff that might play into some of your
Sure.
your thoughts here.
Go.
I'm thinking when you got flung here, It was
Mhm.
something about just how you had been manipulating your mass or something, and the fact that you
Mhm.
don't have the same normal sort of drag in the water necessarily as everyone else,
Mhm.
that you just got, kapowed, into the distance, and that
Right.
you are actually sent to somewhere that this is like abyssal trench sort of thing, like totally
Oh,
black,
okay.
no sight
All
of
right.
any sort of like land or sea surface or sea or anything. You're just surrounded by
Right.
like the void, basically.
Hmm.
And so like there's a bit of you kind of just, you know, seeming to be unconscious for a while as you sort of drift in this void, but then sort of, just blinking awake and looking around and going, huh, okay. But then as you're getting ready to maybe start trying to figure out which way is up and where's the surface and all of that,
Right.
you actually notice that there's a strange glow below you, kind of
Oh,
like a
okay.
blue white light of some kind is glowing from down below. The water
Okay.
is sort of diffusing it, so it's not a really obvious shape or anything, but there's light coming from down there.
Yeah, I'll investigate that. That's
Okay. Yeah, and so as you are kind of swimming down there, you see that there is more of this light sort of beyond, like almost like there's some kind of underwater city down there. But what you
mhm.
actually encounter first, and I think that there's sort of a like surprise face to face meeting, sort of two on one, two person panel, where you in your sort of your own sun dweller containment suit
Right. Uh-huh.
encounter what appears to be another alien of a different variety, but
Right.
also in a containment suit, who looks just as surprised to see you as you do to them.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Uh, hi.
Um, so I think that here's a question, I think, for Flair. Do you speak other
Yeah.
languages? What's your language situation?
I can access other languages as long as they were spoken by humanity
Mm-hmm.
by kind of going back through the memories that I inherited from previous ones.
Okay.
If it was something like invented in the last 50 years, like Tokipona, no.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if
So
it was,
I think that uh, they say something you don't understand, and then they see that you don't understand. They say something else that you don't understand that has kind of a different flavor to it. And this is one of those
mhm,
things where the comic, we're
right,
seeing all sorts of like weird characters, but then like different kinds of weird characters.
yes,
But then saying English.
yes,
Oh well, that's easier then. Who are you?
I'm Flair.
I, I am Aurelia. You don't look
Uh,
like one of the native creatures of this planet.
no, I'm not. I'm from the sun.
Oh, no way! I'm from
Yes.
Jupiter!
I had no idea there was anybody there.
Well,
How
we have only just
good.
started sending out diplomatic envoys, and we started with the the ocean civilizations of this world. We have not yet established an embassy with the surface creatures.
Well then, um, I have no idea how I'm going to get from where we are to where I want to be, but uh,
They just, since it's like I'm sorry, I don't need to keep you. You seem like you're in a
right.
hurry to.
Yes, I need to get back to the surface. My friends are in trouble.
Oh
Um,
no.
but uh, here, and he splits off a piece of technology to say, hold this,
Mm-hmm.
talk to me, and I'll hear it. This is a different channel than the team channel. I'm not giving him
Sure.
access
Yeah.
to the team channel. I'm just giving him a way of contacting me.
Yes. Wonderful. I would just love to have another alien to talk to. I've been getting a bit homesick, and even if you're not also from Jupiter, maybe you would understand. But thank you. Please help your friends. But I would love to talk to you again.
Absolutely, and Flair will take off. And what we see as Flair surfaces
Mm-hmm.
is that he moves too fast, and the density changes as the water. He starts to like balloon in a kind of almost comic way, and just
Mm-hmm.
like swells up in every dimension, and um and he's thinking, I've got to get back to them. It doesn't matter. I'll hold it together, and then darkness, and uh, okay. You know what? I would like to talk to you offline about what to do with Flair next.
Okay. Because I'm 100% on board with you with Flair connecting with sunglasses we had kind of previously established.
Right.
I kind of not that I'm forcing you to make any different decisions. I just sort of wanted to introduce this other character.
Oh no, yeah, that's absolutely fine, and I have some
Mhm.
great ideas for that too.
Okay.
But I want to talk to you about the
Sure.
possibilities, because I don't want to throw something in the game.
Okay.
And
So we'll leave it with Flair is now returning to the surface.
right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I think actually, even though we've been trending towards a little bit of uh, earlier finishes with this campaign, but it's partly just because of as we said last time, the desire to have these nice button endings for the end of
Yeah.
the issue. Let's have everyone. Let's finish it there for now, and have everyone
Okay.
do your end of session move.
Okay. Let's look at that again.
All right. So
Um,
if anyone's
I
ready.
am going to I'm going to take grow into your own image of yourself.
Okay.
And this may seem strange, but I'm going to lower freak and raise mundane.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How about Curie?
Uh, hmm. I'm, I, you know,
You need more time?
honestly, fighting side by side with Mayhem,
Mhm.
kind of, I think, at least for Kiri,
Hmm.
actually, could,
Want to come back to you?
come back to me.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. How about you, Mayhem? Are you there, Lee? Mayhem?
Yes, I'm here. I am
Okay.
speaking on mute.
Oh well. See,
I
that doesn't
think-
help.
Yeah, I think Mayhem is growing more into her own image of herself.
Okay.
So I am going to raise mundane and lower superior.
Okay.
So now everything is at zeros except for danger, which is at 3.
Interesting.
All right. Okay. What about Antares?
I definitely grow closer to the team because the team came to save me.
Yeah.
And I could also see into it myself because I kind of did that super thing, but the team came to save me.
They
so
sure did. Yeah.
They sure did. Since Vanguard was the leader of the team, I'm gonna, he already has influence on me, but I'm going to clear Hopeless because I was able to hold the power long enough for them to beat the baddie and he was able to lift us
Yeah.
to safety. So I clear one condition anyway out of mind things. I'm still kind of insecure, angry, and afraid, but I'm no longer hopeless. And Vanguard's leadership of the team made that happen.
Okay. How about you, Vanguard?
So two things. Vanguard, I got enough I got enough potential with those last 2 misses to do a thing. But
Yeah.
he will grow closer to the team because he worked together with Antares to get us all out of that situation.
Yeah.
Plus, I thought about making this a moment of truth for him,
Okay.
but
You have
because
to unlock it if you haven't
yeah,
already.
yeah.
Hmm.
But I've not. I don't think I've done. Yeah, not yet.
Hmm.
But it will be though that because he did call his Gramps before, when they do get back to shore, his Gramps meets him there, and he's like, kind of like, sorry, I couldn't get here in time, but he gives him access to his citywide stash of tech and gear. So I will be taking for my advancement, I will be taking the move, all the best things,
Okay.
and it says all the best stuff. You've compiled access to caches of equipment and weaponry, other superheroes. No, in this case, it's my Gramps hidden in the city. When you access a cache, you can say whose cache it is or whatever, but it'll be his.
Okay.
And it's basically him kind of his way of saying, "I see you've kind of."
Where's this move coming from?
It is one of the other books that you sent us.
Yeah, okay, so it might be the Scion actually, but that's fine. It's okay. We don't need to find that right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
so have you finished your end of session move choice?
Yep.
Okay.
And he'll be
Great.
he'd grow closer to the team, so I'll mark potential for that.
Great.
And that's what I got from advancement with the potential.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sure.
I am going to grow closer to the team,
Hmm.
and I think it's Blair because Kiri jumped in after because Blair got blasted off.
Hmm.
Blair got tossed into nowhere, and like
Oh,
he inspired her,
yeah.
All right.
and I will mark potential.
Fantastic. Okay, so we finished the end of session moves, but I think that there's a surprise last page where we see Chadwick, um, who is now sitting in a limo, and he is looking like one of the windows is down, and he's talking to someone out the window, and he says, "So, have you got the thing you promised me?"
Mhm.
And then what we see handed in the window to him is a giant hand holding out a purple amulet.
Bum.
Oh boy.
Um,
The birth of the influencer.
Oh.
I like that. I like that a lot.
mm.
Oh God.
All right,
Wow.
so I think that's where we will end it for tonight's session. Just quick reminder, there will be no stream next week because I will be at Balticon, but hopefully in 2 weeks we will return with more superhero adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.
So many levels.
Any level.